Okay, everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm back for another recipe. This is going to be a great recipe. Don't know if you can map out exactly what I'm going to make here, but today I am making some pasta fagioli. Now, seems like a lot of ingredients. I guess in a way there's a few. Let me run down exactly what I got going on here for you guys. And prepping is probably one of the most important things here. Okay, so like I did, I wasn't going to show you, how to cut the onions, the celery, and the carrots and stuff like that. But I got all my prepping out of the way ahead of time, and we can get on with this recipe now. Okay, so like I always say, try to use good ingredients if you can. That's going to give you the best flavor of this dish. Okay, this is a dish that you guys heard me say it a lot of times. Growing up Italian, pasta fagioli, one of the many Italian dishes that my mom has made. It runs in my family. My family makes this. It's actually a poor man's meal. It's pasta and beans. That's what pasta fagioli is. Some people pronounce it pasta fagioli. Some people pronounce it pasta fagioli. I pronounce it pasta fagioli. It's how I was raised. Neither one of the ways that you can say it is wrong. It's all proper. Okay, and it's a very versatile recipe. Let me run down the ingredients. Let's get started like that, and then I do make my own sauce for this, so I'll also show you how to do that. Okay, so let's start over here. As you can see, I've got 2 cans of San Marzano whole peeled tomatoes. Love these tomatoes. They're a little bit on the pricey side. They're about $5 a can, but you're going to get some really, really good results out of these. Okay, I have some white wine over here. I have 2 16-ounce cans of canalini beans. Now, you don't have to use canned beans. You can buy beans in a bag, and you can also soak them overnight and then cook them in the morning. But there's nothing wrong with using a good quality canned bean here. All right, over here I have 4 cups of chicken stock. I have some olive oil here. The recipe calls 6 tablespoons. Us Italians, we don't, we don't measure really, but I'll link that all down in the description, exactly what I'm using here. So if you don't catch it the first time around, you can just go below and hit on more, and then it'll come up in that description. It'll give you all the ingredients that I'm running down here for you. Okay. Over here, I got 2 cups of ditalini. You can use ditalini. You can use elbows. Now this pasta is just these little tiny basic tubes kind of thing, and all as this means in Italian, ditalini, all as it means in Italian is little fingers. Okay, so I got 2 cups of those, but you can use elbows. You can use small shells with this if you'd like to. You can even take regular spaghetti and you can crack it. You can just break it all down the line, and you can also use that for this dish too, but I'm pretty partial to ditalini. That's what I grew up on. That's what I do. I got some freshly grated Parmesan cheese here. No secret measurement for this. It's just I grated some this morning, and if I need more, I'll grate more. I grated what I thought I might need. It's just for garnishing at the end, along with some fresh parsley. That's also another garnish that I'm going to use. Over here, I've got some hot sausage, Italian sausage. You can use sweet sausage in this if you want to, or you can leave the sausage out. You don't have to use sausage at all if you don't want to. I have a Parmesan rind over here. I have some red pepper flakes here. Now, be careful with this, because if you're using hot sausage and you put in the red pepper flakes, it may be a little bit too spicy for you. But if you're like me, you like spicy foods, you're probably going to add them both. Sweet sausage will compensate for the heat a little bit, and then you add this, and you should just have just a tiny bit of kick in that. All right. I know, I'm sorry, a lot of ingredients, but I just want to, that's what my channel's about, right? All the little tiny things, I try to explain them to you guys, give you guys options and things like that. Okay. Over here, I've got about 7 cloves of garlic chopped. All right. I've got 2 bay leaves here. I've got fresh thyme, about a tablespoon here. I got fresh rosemary as well. Over here I got some very small diced carrots. Now I want to show you guys this. Now the carrots and the celery is chopped about the same, okay? Because we're going to saute this down in our pan. We're going to get this soft. So this here is about a half a cup of carrots, a half a cup of celery chopped the same way as the carrots, and the onion is a half a cup as well. What I do with this is I do take this just a little bit on the bigger side. You can see just a little bit, not much, just a little bit on the bigger side, because that's just the way I like it. There's no other rhyme or reason for that. All right, so here is all of the ingredients. I'm gonna break away for a second. We're gonna get some of this stuff out of the way, and I'm gonna bring in a bowl. We're gonna open up these tomatoes, and I'm gonna show you what I do next. We're gonna make a very simple sauce, because this dish is all about building flavor. Every time we add an ingredient, we saute things for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, somewhere around there. So we're building flavor as I go along. And I guarantee you guys, if you guys have never made pasta fagioli like this, stay tuned. We're going to get into this. This is going to be an amazing pasta fagioli. I urge you guys to try this once and then adjust the ingredients how you guys like it, and take it from there. But let me get some of this stuff cleared off, and we're going to start with the sauce. It's going to be real basic sauce. Garlic, onions, maybe a bay leaf thrown in there, 2 bay leaves thrown in there, a little bit of Parmesan cheese. We're going to cook that down, get the acidity out of it, and then that's the sauce that we're going to use for the pasta fagioli. Now you can also, once again, I'm sorry about the babbling, you can also just use tomato paste and mix that in instead of actually making a sauce. So keep that in mind. Nothing wrong with just using tomato paste either. Okay, I'll be right back, and we'll open up these cans. We'll get going with this recipe. All right, so here we go with the tomatoes. Let me grab my mopine. All right, now we're all set. You always got to have your mopine when you cook, right? We're going to get messy here too, because you're going to use your hands on this. All right, so we're going to put in the tomatoes just like this. These are gorgeous. You guys have never used San Marzano tomatoes, I'm telling you, this is gonna make your sauce like absolutely amazing. Okay, so when I said you guys are gonna get yourself dirty, get your hands in this, exactly what it's gonna be. Okay, I am gonna take these over to the sink after I get done breaking these up, and I am gonna rinse these out, put a little bit of water in this. I waste nothing when it comes to a sauce. Okay, all right. So here's the deal. This is they're whole tomatoes. Right? Whole tomatoes. Now, sometimes the edge of the tomato can be a little bit hard. You don't want to use that. You don't have to use it. But what I do is I just take my thumb, I pierce it, because if you don't do that, it's going to squirt, and they still may squirt, okay? And I just break them up. You guys might have seen me do this video or something like this, breaking these up. And I did a video. What the heck did I do a video on? A rigatoni video, and I did it the same way. The only thing I did different in that video was to just put them through a strainer, which is a little time consuming. You gotta weigh the good with the bad there. But so I just take these little hard pieces out if I see any, and that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna finish breaking these up. We're gonna get our hands dirty. We're gonna break all these tomatoes up, and then I'm gonna bring them over. I'm going to show you how I start this sauce. All right, I'm going to see you guys in just a couple of minutes. All right, so we're about to start the sauce. All right, so what we're going to do is I just have a plate here with a little onion on it. We're just going to put the onion in. There's probably about 5 tablespoons of olive oil in the bottom of the pan. Now, we don't want to get these brown. We don't want to beat these up too much. So we're going to go really easy on this. We just want to get these just a little bit translucent. We don't want to go crazy with this, okay? So we're only going to do this here and saute these just for a couple of minutes. All right. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to add some garlic to this, and we're going to throw the sauce in, a couple bay leaves, maybe a little Parmesan cheese. We're going to put the lid on that, and that's how that's going to sit until it gets hot. Then I'm going to just kind of simmer it with the lid off, get some of the acidity out of it. I don't really like a high acidity sauce, so we're going to just kind of simmer that down for a little while, and then I'm going to get going on the actual pasta fagioli. Alright, so the onions have been just kind of sauteing here for just a couple of minutes. We're going to turn around, we're going to throw some garlic in. I probably got about 2 cloves of garlic now at this point. Now, remember, I say this in all my videos, remember about the garlic, right? If you know, I say some people might like it brown. I don't like brown garlic because it releases a chemical called allicin, and what it does is it actually makes the garlic bitter. Okay, so I don't do that. But you feel free. If you like to do it like that, you could do it like that, but I just figured I would pass that along. Now, as soon as you start smelling the garlic, that garlic is done, and then we're going to put the tomatoes in, and we're going to stop the cooking process. That's what that's going to do. Alright, so we're just about there for smelling the garlic, and yes, we are. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add we're just going to add the tomato sauce that I kind of broke up by hand, and there you go. That's going to stop the cooking process as soon as that hits. Okay, I'm putting this in with a ladle just so it doesn't go all over my stove. I hate a messy kitchen, hate a messy stove when I cook, so we try to keep it somewhat clean. Okay. Alright, now we're just going to pour this into the ladle, like this, right into the pot. Sorry about the camera angle just then, but maybe one day I'll get somebody to hold the camera for me. Okay, so that is done. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take just a couple of bay leaves. We're going to throw a couple bay leaves in there. We're going to stir this around just like this. Okay, and 1 second here. Okay, because I already know it's going to need it, so we're just going to put a pinch of salt for now. We are going to put just a pinch of pepper as well. Stir this back around. Seriously, if you guys have never used these San Marzano tomatoes, that you're missing out. I highly recommend you guys to pick up some of that if you'd like to. Makes a world of difference in your sauce, an absolute world of difference. Okay, and now what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to put a little Parmesan cheese. Mix this in. Just like that. So delicious. Basic sauce, easy sauce. You know, when I make another sauce, like when I do meatballs and baked ziti and all that stuff like that, you know, manicat or manicati, whatever. My sauce is a little bit different. But for this here, this is a great little sauce. All right, so we're going to put a lid on it, just like that. We're going to let this come to a good simmer, and then we're going to take the top off of it, and we're just going to let it go. So this is how the sauce looks. This has been cooking for probably about 15-20 minutes now. Try to cook this for about an hour. You know, an hour and 15 minutes. You know, to grab the acidity out of it. Now, I just want to fill you guys in on another little thing that my Italian grandmother used to tell me all the time, and it's this ring right here where the sauce is. Okay, this will tell you how far that it's actually cooked down. My grandmother always used to say, don't take that ring away, because this way you know how much that your sauce is cooked down. My grandmother basically believed that once you kind of distill this, I guess is what you're doing, because you're pulling the moisture off of it. What you'll do is sometimes if you're making a big batch of sauce, you know, you'll add more water to the sauce, and then you'll cook that down again, and that brings the acidity out of the sauce. So, you know, everybody does it their own way. That's just kind of my observation when I was a kid. So this is where it's at. So you can actually see how much this has moved. Okay, so we're gonna keep going with this. We're just gonna turn the camera around now, and I am gonna get going on the ingredients here for the pasta fagioli. Okay, so what we start with here is we start with our onions, or I'm sorry, our carrots. You got a medium heat here as well for this, and we're gonna put in the celery as well. Okay, and then we're going to we're gonna grab a spoon here. We're gonna saute these down for a little bit. In this pot, I just have a little bit of whatchamacallit, a little bit of olive oil started this. So this is what this is. So we're gonna cook this down a little bit, and then after like 2-3 minutes of this, we're gonna add our onions. We're gonna cook that down for another 2 minutes, and then we're gonna add in our red pepper flakes, garlic, rosemary, and thyme, and then we're gonna take it from there. So I'm gonna let this cook down, and we will be right back in a couple of minutes. All right, so these carrots and celery have been going for about 2 minutes. So like I said before, this is going to be about 2-minute increments on each add-in. Okay, so now we're going to add in our onions, and we're also going to add in, now at this point, we're going to add in our red pepper flakes. Okay, not many, just a little bit for some heat. We're going to stir this up. This, and you guys know this is like any base for any soup, basically. Maybe minus the red pepper flakes, but this is a base for anything pretty much that you're making as far as soup goes. Adds a little sweetness, flavor. We're building flavor here. That's all we're doing. All right, I'm gonna let this go for, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. Let the onions get translucent, and then we're gonna throw in some rosemary, some thyme, and some garlic, and some white wine. This is going to be delicious. It's all about building flavor on this dish. It's been going for about two minutes or so. Again, like I said, after each addition, it's usually about 2 minutes. Now we're going to turn around and we're going to take our rosemary. We're going to throw our rosemary in. We're going to mix this around. Now it's going to become very fragrant with this. And this is these vegetables cook down into almost nothing, and before you guys are wondering, no, you don't bite into just a chunk of celery or carrots. That's why in the beginning of the video you guys seen, I held it up for you guys so you could see exactly how I cut that down. Alright, rosemary's in. We'll be back at the time. Alright, now you could see how this is cooked down, right? Let's see if I can bring that up to you. You could see how this cooked down. Like I said, it's all building flavor here. Okay, now what we're doing is we're throwing the thyme in. Okay, we're going to let this go for a couple of minutes, and you can see it's now absorbing at this point. It's absorbing all the oil, the olive oil that we put in when we started, and everything's coming together. Rosemary, thyme, how can you go wrong with that, right? Kitchen smells fantastic. I'm going to let this go for a minute. And we're going to continue with the next step. We're going to add some garlic. Alright, next step. About 7 cloves of garlic. I know that seems like that's a lot. And I know that there's garlic also in the sauce. But trust me on this. It's not going to taste, it's not going to burn your mouth. It's not going to be like that kind of garlic. Okay, so again, the thing with the garlic is we're going to do this until this garlic becomes fragrant. It's no different than any time that I personally use garlic, because I don't like it brown, I don't like it bitter. It throws off that chemical out of allicin, so I do not like that. So we're going to cook this down just until it gets fragrant. You see the onions, they're not browned, everything is looking good in here. It smells fantastic. Okay, garlic is done. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to throw in our sausage. Alright. More flavor. Alright, so now what we're going to do is you got to make sure that this sausage now is broke up. Okay, so you're just going to break it apart, and any sausage grease or fat in here that renders into this pan, we're going to leave it there. Okay, so this is probably one of the most difficult, if it's even difficult. I don't think it is, but some people might not like breaking up sausage links or whatever. But this is how it's done. You can get ground up sausage if you want to too, and then you don't have to break up the links. Now, this is with the casing off. I stripped the casings off prior to starting this. Okay, and this has to be, right now we're building texture along with flavor. So you want to make sure that this is very small bites, very small pieces. You don't want to bite into like a big chunk of sausage here. The more it cooks, the more you'll be able to break it up a little bit finer. So I'm going to continue to break this up, and I will be back to show you exactly how small this sausage is supposed to be. Very, very, very little small. When it hits your tongue, you just want that little bit of caramelization, that little bit of texture. That's all we're looking for here. No big chunks. All right, let me get this done. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So we let the wine reduce by half. Now you can see, I just want to show you that there's not a whole lot of liquid left in here, right? There's some liquid. You could see it over here. I think you can see, yeah, see it right there. You got a little bit of liquid there. Nothing wrong with that. That's what you want. We put about, I don't know, maybe a little bit more than a cup of wine. I usually put about a cup of wine, but I had a little left in the bottle. I figured, hey, put it in, right? So that's what I did. We put it in. We reduced it by half. And now we're at this stage. So what we do next here is we have 4 cups of chicken stock that we're just going to pour right in. Just like that. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our canalini beans. We're going to put these in just like that. Okay. So you can see, look, see? How gorgeous is that, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get some gorgeousness, right? I think that's a word, yeah? All right, what do you see? What do you see this sauce? All right, look. How's that, right? All right, so about 2 cups of sauce. Each ladle is about a half a cup. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to mix this through. Just like this. Now, you guys might not never seen pasta fagioli made like this. I know for a fact that my family does not make it like this. I know that for a fact. But this is just something that I've done in the past, taken little bits and pieces from different recipes that my family has made. My mom, my grandmother, Florence, she, you know, same thing. You know, my Aunt Phil. Just, you know, seeing their recipes and doing it how they do it. And then I just put my own kind of twist on this. You can do a lot with this recipe. There's no way that anytime you make this that it's wrong. It's always right. Remember, pasta fagioli, beans and pasta. That's it. What you add to this is up to you. All right? Okay. So everything's in it right now. Oh, you know what I forgot? You never forget this. A Parmesan rind, right? Throw it in there. That's going to make it nice. Okay? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to a boil right now. We're going to add our 2 cups of ditalini. And then as soon as we add the 2 cups of ditalini, and that cooks, it's about 13 minutes for that ditalini to cook. As many times as I made this, then we're going to adjust it for flavor. We can look at adding more chicken stock if we need to. We can actually add some water to this. Keep in mind that when you cook the ditalini in that, here's another thing too. There's 2 ways of doing this. You can cook the ditalini right inside here, which is what I do. Or you can take your ditalini, you can cook it in a separate pot, and then you can just add your ditalini to this. Now, I will tell you that no matter what, if it's your first time making this, anytime that you're putting pasta into liquid, what's it going to do, right? It's going to absorb the liquid. This will tighten up, hands down. So when you reheat this, if you microwave it, or if you put it in a saucepan and reheat it, you're probably going to have to add a little chicken stock. You're probably going to have to add a cup of water. Don't be alarmed. That's what this does. Okay, so I'm going to get this to a rolling boil. I'm going to get it to a boil. And then I'm going to put the pasta in, and then I'll be back. As soon as I drop the pasta, I'll be back. I'll show you that. And then we'll, after it's cooked and done, we'll plate this up. Nice Italian bread with it, some bread and butter, a little parsley, a little grated cheese. But this is going to be fantastic. Okay, guys, hang in there with me. We're almost done. All right, so I just dropped the ditalini in, and now it's going to become, and the only other thing I did was I just dropped the temperature to medium instead of having it on high. I only had it on high just to get the temperature of the liquid up, okay? So the ditalini's in. Check your instructions on whatever pasta that you guys are using for cooking time. I know ditalini, for me, it's usually about 13 minutes to get this right. Once that pasta starts releasing the starch in this, it's going to tighten up this soup, okay? So make sure you constantly kind of move it around a little bit so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot. It's the only thing you really got to be worried about at this time. Okay, so in 13 minutes, I will be back. I will see you as soon as this is done. We're going to plate this up, get some bread and butter going here too. Perfect Sunday meal. Okay, see you in a second. All right, so the pasta has been cooking for about 13 to 15 minutes now. I just want to show you how loose it was before I, see, look, when I started, and then let's see what the pasta did. Look. Right, pasta's nice. The starch is in the soup now at this point, and it is done. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this Parmesan rind, and we're going to take this out of the soup at this point, and we are going to go over now, and we're going to plate this up, and this is how it's done. Listen, if you're Italian or not, right, if you don't like pasta fagioli, then you're not going to like this, right? I understand that. But if you like pasta fagioli and you don't like this, I'm almost going to go with like there's a problem, because this is absolutely fantastic. Okay, that was just a joke. I'm going to take this over. We're going to plate this up, and I'll be back with you guys in 1 second. We're ready to eat. Hang in there. Let's get on to plating this. This looks so good, it's not even funny. Okay, so here it is. Here we go. Hopefully I don't make a mess, right? All right. Let me clean up my mess here a little bit. All right, so you know how I am with the presentation. This is no different, right? Okay, so there is our pasta fagioli. So now the only thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, and I'm just going to drizzle a very little bit of olive oil on the top. We're going to hit it with some fresh grated Parmesan cheese. The simplest meals sometimes are the best, right? Okay, and we're also going to add, we're going to get it beautiful with a little parsley. And then, because anytime you garnish, you always garnish what's in the meal, right? So we're going to take a little bit of thyme, and we're going to take a little sprig of rosemary. Okay, just like that. we're going to hit it with, we're going to move this over here. We're going to hit this with a couple slices of Bella Napoli Italian bread. And this, my friends, is how we do pasta fagioli. Now, like I said, my family has made this for years. So if they watch this, I'm hoping that they actually like this recipe. So we might as well dedicate this to all the Italians in my family, right? You know, my mom, my grandmother, you know, Florence Baston, my Aunt Sue, and my Aunt Phyllis, because a lot of the women cook. Not to forget, actually, my Uncle Don, too, because, you know, for a guy, he made some great stuff. He still makes some great stuff. A lot of cooks in the family. This is just what we do. This is how we were brought up. This is what we got going on. So this is how we make the pasta fagioli. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. Hopefully I was thorough enough. I know you guys are probably going, yeah, you were a little bit too much thorough, but you know, I hope that that I was thorough enough. You guys make this. You got a little sauce recipe plus the pasta fagioli recipe. I hope everybody's well, and subscribe to my channel if you like this. There's going to be a lot of Italian stuff coming up now because the weather's cold here in upstate New York. So we're going to be doing lots of stuff, spaghetti, meatballs, manicotti, you know, things like that, stuffed shells, lasagna, you know, Italian wedding soup, you know, manesse, you know, it goes on and on and on. So hopefully you guys like this. Make it, leave a comment in the description, or not the description, but you can leave a comment for me if you guys like this. I'll get back to you with any positive or negativity is fine with me. But hopefully you guys learned a little something here, and don't be afraid to add the white wine in there. All right, so here we go. Let me gotta try this a little bit here. Oh, jaws are greased. All right, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, guys, make this. It's definitely well worth the time that it takes to make this. Okay, recipe every week. We'll see you guys next week in another recipe. Everybody take care. Have yourselves a good upcoming week, and I will see you with the next recipe.